All right, we are here with Braxton Keith. What is going on, man?
Nothing much. How you doing?
Us. I'm just happy you're here, and happy you took the time to do this. Because I know, like on the live, like I was talking to Talbo, who if
Oh,
people,
shoot.
what's up? Is it lagging a little bit?
Yeah, lagging a little bit.
Nah, it's
It's all
fine.
right though. We're back.
Okay, yeah. Sometimes it seems to do that in the first couple of seconds, but even if it looks grainy, it's recording to your local device, so it'll be fine.
Nice.
But yeah, I was saying. I was talking with Talbo, and we really believe, we said like Wyatt Flores, he took the last trip to the moon. We really think it's going to be you when it comes back to pick you up and put you out there. You're
Well,
doing
thank
great,
you.
man.
Thank you so much. I mean, that's great to hear. We've been working hard, so
Yeah,
that's encouraging.
dude. I used to tell my friends, and it's going to sound conceited, but I used to be like, listen to me, and I'll make you famous. And nobody ever listened, so I took my own advice and found a way to like not get famous, but like get it. It worked. But like
Yeah.
what you're doing, like I see a lot of people doing the right things, and I see a lot of people doing some things I just believe isn't helping their career. But what you've been doing lately is just like spot on, and like you're crushing it in the socials.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
yeah, especially with like I guess did you hire like a media manager or a photographer to follow you around?
So what happened was, man, I got really lucky. There's this Western store in town, and it was called Wheeler's Western Wear. And I started going in there when my parents moved to Bernie, and they had this media guy they had just hired who was doing all of their hats and their shirt media and stuff. And I really liked their videos, so I started hanging out with them a lot. And he started coming to shows, and one thing led to another. That store got bought out. They let him go, so I hired him full time. Uh, and so this guy is with me every day. I mean, there's not a day where we don't have the camera on us. And it's changed my life. I mean, that you've got to be filming everything nowadays. So
Yeah,
it's just having somebody who is working 24/7. I really have two guys that are working 24/7 basically, because the editing is half of that. I'm sure like editing takes forever. So we got a guy that's a full-time editor. That's all he does, and then uh, Zach does all the shooting. So we
yeah,
uh, we got a good little team. But I mean, it takes a village almost to do
yeah,
this.
yeah, and it's definitely been paying off. And yeah, I just like when your videos come up, I'm like, that's how you do it. That's because like you only get like one real shot at it, and
Yeah,
I,
that's true.
I really think you're doing the best you could do, and I just it like it's weird. It's weird how like we've never met, you know what I mean? But it like just warms my heart, because
Yeah,
this is the first time we talked, but like you can just see from your personality and everything, and like it's great to see when like the universe picks the right guy to make famous. You know what I mean?
yeah, absolutely,
Yeah, like
absolutely.
seeing Wyatt with on at Red Rocks with that speech, I was like, dude, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah,
Like it's totally emotional, and it's great. Is and it also gives, he has a path where you can follow in his footsteps, see what he did right, and see maybe things he did wrong. And people are gonna do that with you. Definitely do that with you. I love watching the after show stuff because like not a lot of people realize like that I'm gonna the hounding, the constant. Hey man, it's like what I really think that keeps you grounded is you drive and
yeah,
keep responsibilities outside of just getting off stage and just throwing them back. Because that can be a trap to fall down too, especially
yeah,
when
absolutely,
when
hundred
you're
percent.
with you're on fire right now. And
Yeah, you got to stay grounded, man. I mean, you got to realize the reason that you're even doing this is like, I mean, I've been dreaming about doing this since I was a little kid. So, I mean, we're it's cool that we're gaining a little bit of success, but I mean, this is where the work just has begun, you know.
Yeah, it's like you
So,
said, like everything you do is content. So like, and
yeah,
now
this whole
it,
thing's a movie. That's the way I view it. Like this whole thing's going to be a movie one day, and we're just filming. Like the cameras we have, I think I view them as printers. If you know how to use them correctly, those things just print money.
yeah,
That's all they do.
yeah, and you're singing the soundtrack to your own movie.
That's right. The sound of music.
Dude, so like Cozy, when you wrote that, recorded that, and released it, did you have any idea that it would just be a freight train and just take off like it
Yeah,
did?
I was pretty certain. Uh, I was begging for that song for a long time, and it didn't get released when I wanted it to. I mean, I wanted it to be December, like a winter song. Cozy, right? Wouldn't that have been perfect?
Yeah.
Like, come on. And so it didn't. Nothing went my way with it, really. And so we've just been fighting for it because I really do like the vibe of that song. It's got like an '80s groovy, sexy country vibe to me, and I just like the feeling that those kind of songs give you when you just hear that vibe, I guess. I
Yeah.
don't know. And so I just fought for it really hard. Like I knew at least to me it was a really interesting song. It was different than anything I'd heard in a while. It reminded me of like, Ronnie Millsap or something cool like that. So I I don't know. I've just believed in it for years, and finally we got to put it out, and it did all right, but it just now started picking up to where I'm like, this song is, a seriously like cool thing.
Yeah, it
But
definitely. I love that you did the vocal, just the isolation on your vocals of she, and people are using that with
yeah.
slideshows, and that's great. I love that. I was like, dude, that's a genius idea for that part of the song.
Well, and yeah, we had like honestly, we got that idea from that Morgan Wallen that song that's not out yet. Everybody's using the sound right now.
No, I
I
don't.
don't know. I don't know what the lyrics are. I'd sing it for you, but it's like anyways, he had like a video go super viral, and it's just like that where they kind of have the band in like a for like 2 or 3 seconds, and then it cuts out, and it's just isolated vocals with a little bit of harmonies. And we were like, well, hell, let's just do a video like that. And so my guy made me one, and happened to work.
Yeah.
So
It,
thank you, Morgan Wallen.
yeah, and it's funny is like I'm pretty sure I did a vocal isolation on that song too, and a lot of people will ask me to like make it a sound. I'm like, no, like if I make it a sound and if something happens, it takes off. Like my sound takes off, not yours. So I'm glad to see if I wanted to use that, it goes back to you because that's
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
like I tell people like I did at Cody Jinks David, and they're like, make this a sound, please. I'm like, unless unless Cody Jinks contacted me and said go ahead, and I would send it to him first, or I was like, no, I was like, that's just not. That's why I always try to do like, because people don't realize how easy it is, especially as an artist when you have like an artist account. Like I'll click on the sound Braxton Keith, click it, and if I have my stuff already set up, I can add it to all my playlists and taps. It's two
Yeah.
taps. It's amazing the power, and so many people don't utilize it, and I don't know why. Like it drives me bonkers. like, like I kind of not that like I guess I kind of do have a little bit in the game because I want to take what you guys are all doing and have it, replace. When people think country, they think no, achy breaky heart and all that, and
Yeah.
and all that, just money grab situation with the snap and clacks, and it's all the same themes and it's just same sound. There's no. That's why I like your take on it. Your take's like a vintage modern in your own style. It has classic properties with the modern tools at your tool set. And there's a lot of older people that are like, they think once the legends are gone, or the ones that have been gone, they don't think there's anything else past that. And that's one barrier that I've been trying. Like there's Randall King, William Beckman, and all. There's people coming up that are doing fantastic things and writing fantastic songs that have that soul and that individuality and everything that just the radio is probably what they're exposed to. It just doesn't have.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, everybody always says country music is dying. I couldn't like disagree more. I mean, I think country music is more alive now than it has ever been. Uh, there's some crazy things going on in country music right now, and that's sad that a generation thinks that once these legends die and these legacy acts die, that there will be no more great country music. I mean, that's what me, Zach Top, Randall King, Jake Worthington, and countless other guys are over here trying to stop. Like, and I mean, that's at least my goal. I want to make sure that country music lives on.
Yeah,
That's my favorite.
it's a. I went to a Steel Woods concert, and I walked by a guy, and I was like, "Man, I know that guy from TikTok," and he's looking at me. I don't know if he recognized me or anything. I didn't get to talk to him, but I really had a moment. I'm like, man, that guy just looks. I said I probably seen him on TikTok, and here comes the opening act. It was Zach Top. I was like, oh my god, he was wearing like, obviously not his stage clothes, or I would have been like, okay, that dude's somebody. But I couldn't stop laughing. I was like, yeah, of course I know him, duh. But he's actually a really good guitar player. I had no
Yeah,
idea.
he is. He's a great guitar player.
Yeah, and like you said, he's got some really cool tunes coming out.
Absolutely. And anybody who's making country music, I'm a huge fan of. Like, that's the way I love it, man. I mean, no offense to any of these other people, but there's a lot of not country music on country radio today. And it's not that I'm, hating on any of it or anything. I don't know. It's ridiculous to me.
Yeah,
It's never, I never scroll onto a radio station that's like a rap station or anything and hear country music playing on it. So I
yeah,
don't know. It's just crazy to me.
yeah, dude. You're right. It's funny is when people or people that knew me, it blows their mind. They're like, we can't believe that you have a big influence in country music. And I always be like, you got a hyphen. It's good country. it's
Yeah.
it's real country. It's stuff that is what it should have been the entire time before the machine got a hold of it. And just
Yeah, but like even like I've been watching your content for a long time, and it didn't surprise me one bit. Most of the majority of all of the bands that I've ever hired, most of the musicians are all metalheads.
that's awesome.
Most of them, because those guys are the guys that are really technical and start usually at a young age picking up this stuff, so they get really good, and by the time they're teenagers and stuff, they know music theory and they know how to actually play in front of an audience. And then they switch over to country music because they realize they can make more money.
I I've lived that life.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you ever see me play guitar. I only
Oh, yeah.
very recently learned A scale. And I used to just play by feel, and then like I was watching me playing, and I'm like, yeah, that's fast, that's cool, and I'm like, what is crap? So I really sat down and started learning, scales, and a little bit of theory. That stuff, like I was reading that you're probably schooled in that because you've been doing this since kindergarten.
Shoot, I wish, man. Like all the music theory that I learned for like piano as a child, I lost. And then when I started playing guitar, I just started doing it by ear. So like I know that I know there's a reason why things sound good together. And I could get to that reason if I wanted to, but I'm just satisfied with it sounding okay. You know what I'm saying? Like as
Yeah,
long as it sounds good, like I trust my ear, I guess.
yeah. I mean, your brain is wired to put the notes in a way that is pleasing.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's why there's so many songs and there's only 12 notes in Western music,
Yeah.
which is crazy because people go, no, there's more. I'm like, no, no, there's only 12.
Yeah, that is crazy. I mean, but yeah, that's wild though, because when I go in and we start writing songs, that's when you start thinking about like, oh, can't do that because it sounds like this song, or oh, you can't do that because it sounds like this song. It's like, dang, you only got 12 notes to work with. I mean, it's going to sound like something,
Yeah,
something that's been done before.
yeah. And like being an artist, that's like when people like I see a lot of other like there's a what is it, a Drumeo, and people are like, I can't believe I've never heard this song before. And I'm like, if you're like a serious artist, not only are you performing your own music, I said some people actively avoid other songs so they don't write that song. Because if you're just driving down the road and you're trying to like write a melody in your head, you've probably sat down and started playing something like, dude, I just wrote a great song, and then you'll play for someone and they'll go, dude, that's a Jimi Hendrix song. You're like, ah, oh, you're
Yeah.
right, it is. And it's weird how like that'll happen. And but like you said, it's hard not to, but I think a lot. I think the lyrics drive a lot more than the melody because, like not a lot of people like London Bridge is falling down, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. It's the same song, it's the
Yeah,
same note. London,
exactly.
Mary had a little lamb, London Bridge. That's when people aren't musicians. They go, oh, I never knew that, and but it's like it's weird. The science behind music and just how it all works is just it. My friend had didn't have a mother. She's still alive. His mom was a professor, and she was writing a book on how really talented musicians, all of them are on the spectrum. And I was like,
Hmm.
and she was she said a lot of big words and was talking about just how like this part of the brain links with that, and then you have this part with the focus and I was just like, man, I never really thought about that. And I was like, it was a very fancy way of just saying like musicians' brains are different, and you can like read the science behind it, and it just blows my mind, like because like you know we weren't hit by lightning or anything, maybe a spiritual awakening, but you know what I mean, like
Yeah, I mean, you definitely got to be some sort of crazy to be doing what musicians today and forever have been doing. I mean, it's a different lifestyle for sure. Like my whole family is in dentistry. I have two little brothers, and both of my parents are in dentistry. I'm the black sheep of the family, and I'm the oldest brother. And I'm up all night and sleep all day, and they're the complete opposite. So I mean, it's just a different world you got to live in. I think you got to be built a little different. But I don't know. It's interesting to me because I do see that like you meet some crazy characters in this industry, and you're like, yeah, I mean, it makes sense why that guy's doing this. Like he's electric. He's somebody who people would like to talk to, or I don't know. It's kind of interesting the characters you meet.
yeah. And I definitely know what type of personality you're talking about. Like even if they're in the music industry and there's some people like they're like, I don't know if you ever see The Goods. with
The goods, yeah.
yeah, like where like he doesn't want to buy the car because he'll lose the bet, and he still sells the car, and you don't
Hmm.
know what just happened. You're just like, oh, what just happened? You know, like some people in the musicians like they can talk like that, and before you know it, you're like so excited, and you're like, I don't even want to read the contract, or you
Yeah,
just
that's scary too. I mean, like,
oh,
just a lot of like, I don't know. It's a lot of people just don't know like I don't know. I get people asking me for advice all the time, and usually it's about like somebody DM me and said they want me to sign a record deal, and I'm like, well, listen, man. Usually that's not how it works,
yeah,
but or people will scam people out of tickets or try to scam them out of money in the DMs and stuff, pretending to be other people or whatever it is. And I'm just like, it's a crazy world we live in nowadays.
yeah.
It really is.
You know, it used to be they targeted it just primarily the elderly, and now it seems like
Oh,
everybody's
everybody's at risk.
yeah.
Yeah, don't be putting your password in nothing sketchy.
Yeah, I get scared just buying gas and put my card in.
Yeah, no joke. When you go to I'm always looking because I see those videos on TikTok of people finding the skimmers at the gas
Yeah,
station.
yeah. It's like,
Yeah,
how hard do you pull this thing to check?
yeah,
I don't want to
yeah.
buy it. I don't want to buy it. I just want gas, and
Yeah,
I
rip
kind of
the
like.
whole thing off the
Yeah.
counter.
Oops. Have a good day.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
But yeah, what's funny is your mustache was going in. I wanted to do a tournament of who has the greatest mustache in country. Because I was telling Talbot, I was like, dude, Braxton. I was like, his mustache, man. You think all this popularity comes from the power of the stash? and, and I was like, the mustaches in country music, because I know long beards are pretty popular right now. I said, but the
Yep.
stashes are coming back, and I was trying to think of my limited knowledge, and I was, Talbot knows a lot more than me. I was like, who's got the because I know Aaron Watson right now is rocking a butte. He's making
Yep.
TikToks about it, combing it. It's got its own like toothbrush. Like he's like brushing it like a horse. I
Oh,
dude,
you gotta brush out the mane, baby.
yeah. And it's funny is somebody asked, they're like, "Who's on your podcast this week?" And I was like, "Braxton Keith." Braxton Keith, and they're like, "Oh, dude, he's got a cool mustache." And I was like, "He does."
Well, thank you. I didn't do it up today, but she's still hanging in there.
Yeah, it's got the memory. It knows what
That's
to
right.
do.
That's right.
That's funny. But so like are you like on stage cowboy boots kind of guy?
Yeah, I love my boots on stage. I've been wearing horsepower top hands for probably about the last 3 years now. Just because they're crazy comfortable, man. Like I could just slip into a brand new pair right now, and wear them tonight on stage. Like no break in needed.
Nice,
So I've been wearing those for a long time, and they have like the mid rubber sole on the bottom, so you're not slipping around on stage
dude.
when you're walking. So
I tried playing in boots one time, and I've never stood so still, and I was like, there's absolutely no grip, and like you get any type of like dust or anything on those wood floors, man. I'm not very limber, and I don't want to be doing a straddle, you know.
yeah,
But because I know a lot of
rip some
people,
jeans real quick.
yeah, I know a lot of people are they're on like the fence of like not wearing cowboy boots or wearing, but dude, the rubber that has to be a game changer.
Yeah, it's nice. But I've been wearing those for a couple years, and so yeah, I'm usually boots, hat, jeans, button up shirt kind of guy.
Yeah, that's
But
cool.
off stage, I'm just usually chilling like this with a ball cap and a t-shirt. So
Yeah, what it's funny is have you ever worn Crocs?
Oh yeah.
Would you agree? Like I have multiple pairs. They are the best shoes to travel with.
Oh yeah. Easy slip on, easy slip off. Yeah.
And, and
100%.
And if you're in a cramped like van or truck, man, it's nothing. They're easy to take off. I can't tell you how many times. Like if you're wearing like boots or high tops, and they're easy to stow because you can just kick them under any seat. And
Yeah.
like you said, like if you're at the TSA, you know, and if you lose them and something happens, I don't know. It's a lot of people they're like, oh, you know, camo Crocs. Could you be any more of a
Great
douche?
water shoes. Great beach shoes. I mean, it don't get no better than Crocs. I don't know
Yeah,
what they're talking about. If
yeah,
you
yeah.
ain't crocking, you ain't rocking. You know.
Rocket. I always wear them in like what 4-wheel drive.
Oh yeah, 4-wheel drive, baby.
Yeah,
Never know when you got to hit that pass.
that's funny. But yeah. So like, how did like you grew up loving music? What really made you take the jump to be like, you know, I'm gonna make Braxton Keith the biggest name in Texas country? Was there like a moment?
Yeah, I've been playing music and writing songs since I was a little kid. But and I'd always had pressure from other family members and outside sources that I needed to do music, but I'd always been told that it was really difficult, and so I never pursued it really professionally at any level. Uh, and then I went to college, and I didn't know what I was going to do. In fact, when I went to college, I went and started off my freshman year as a biochem uh, major, and my parents told me that wasn't a good idea because they were like, "That's going to be difficult, and you're not going to like that," and they were right. Uh, but I had to figure that out for myself, and so I was playing guitar one day in my dorm room, and my roommate came in and was like, "Hey man, like you should come in here and play guitar for me. I want to hear it." So I played for him, and he was like, "Man, I think it would be a good idea if you recorded, if you went and recorded a single just so you can have it, and you can tell your kids that one day, I've got a song out." And so I went and recorded at Amusement Park Studios in Lubbock, Texas. Recorded one song, and then the rest was history. You know.
Wow. And did you like release it to like radio or anything, or you just posted on social medias and it just went crazy?
Yeah, I went and released it to Spotify, Apple Music, the usual. And the response we had was like kind of crazy, I guess, for the time. Like we had like 60,000 streams in like 3 months. And so I was like, maybe there's something there, like, so we put another one out, Honky Tonk Crowd. And at this point, I don't know if I was all the way in it. My parents were still kind of against me doing this. Uh, but by the time that I had saved up for an EP, I knew, you know, that I'd spent way too much money to quit now, you know. So basically, ever since then, I've just been writing and playing and putting together a great team to surround myself with on the road. And that's what we've been doing, is just running up and down these roads, playing some shows.
Yeah. And I guess your parents really changed their tune. They're 100% behind Braxton Keith.
They are now. Yeah, at first they were they did not like it. They didn't think that I could make a career and support myself out of this. And now they're like, "All right, do whatever you want." Like, they knew I'm a stubborn, hard-headed guy, and that I'm gonna do whatever I want anyways. And so they're like, if this is what you enjoy, take it to the moon, you know.
Yeah. That's
So it's
awesome.
been fun.
Yeah, it's nice to have that support.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it was motivating to not have it as well, but
Yeah. Yeah,
but
that's
yeah,
true. Yeah, it's like,
because sometimes you just got to be like, all right, watch me then, you know?
yeah, yeah. Hold my beer. Watch this.
Yeah,
It's like I'm older now, but I always tell my parents, I'm like, you better keep a room for me. I was like, one day I just might just give everything up and go see if I could, play guitar down in Texas. And they're just
yeah.
like, sure.
Well, where
My,
are you at?
I'm in Delaware.
Delaware, heck yeah.
Yeah, it's a state.
It's
It's
a
funny. I was out up in Maine, and I remember telling people, and they're like, "Man, you're a ways away." And I was like, "Yeah, it's about 14 hours." And the guy goes, "It's only 14 hours to Colorado." I'm like, "Man, that's Denver, dude." I'm saying Delaware, the state. And they're like, "Delaware's the state." And I'm like, "Never mind."
never mind, never mind.
Yeah, thank God for Wayne's World making fun of Delaware, or I don't think we'd ever really. Well, I mean, Joe Biden's from Delaware. Like, we don't really break the cultural scene all that much,
Yeah.
but it's
Are
actually
there
it's
any
like
good honky tonks in Delaware?
no.
No.
Yes, no, that's not Delaware. There's a club down the beach. It's called Cowboy Coast, and it's an entire city block. It's gigantic, and they get some cool acts in there. I mean, God, was that we played there one Memorial Day, and it was Montgomery Gentry. He was playing. They have a huge. I don't know if they still do. They have a huge budget. That's like what I was telling Dalton Domino. I was like, some of the places out here, they got money, and I
Yeah.
said they're not scared to throw it around. I was like, they get some pretty affluent areas around here, but it's funny. They just put a honky tonk down where my parents live in Wildwood, which I hear is nice. But the Cancun Cantina. They're all like Maryland though. It's funny is my one buddy came up and he's like, I ain't never been this far north before. I said, this is not the north. I said, wait till you go up a little bit more north and you hold a door for someone and they yell at you. Then you know you're in the north.
Yeah,
Not
that's why I don't like New York.
oh, dude, I didn't say it. You did.
Hey man, the first time that I was ever up there, I was a little kid and I'd never experienced anything like that. And yeah, just like raised to hold the door or say yes ma'am, no ma'am, and people just don't care. They don't care.
Yeah,
And it's kind of sad.
as my uncle. Yeah, because it, it's easier just to get along and be nice.
Yeah,
And
it wouldn't it be so like it's that's why I enjoy like, driving down the road down here and somebody's driving towards you and you wave at them and they kind of smile at you and wave back. Like that's cool. Makes my day. Wouldn't that, wouldn't that just being nice to everybody and just not make everybody's day a little bit better?
yeah, I agree. It's something that I I used to live in a small town, and you would know everyone. Like everybody went to high school, and you would know everybody by their car.
Yeah.
And I remember we used to wave, and I remember the one time I was dumb enough to clap my buddy's friend doing about 35 miles an hour. I thought I'd rip my
Oof.
arm off.
Ooh.
I was like, because
Ooh.
he used to stick his arm out like, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna smack his. No, next thing you know, I'm like,
Yeah,
when I
almost
need
break
that,
it.
yeah, when I need that rotator cuff surgery, I'll be like, yep, that probably trace
Yeah.
it back to then.
Yeah, pay that deductible.
But yeah, like
Oh man.
it's funny is it's like I haven't written a lot of songs because I'm not a very good solo songwriter. But like I like the other edge because I wanted to write a song about like there's no hate like small town hate. Like if you break up with Mary Jo, the prettiest girl in town, you gonna get hated on.
Yeah.
You ain't get your pizzas delivered. You know, you ain't, and just there's that aspect too. Because I remember kind of a personal experience is, you know, when you're being told by Your Honor, maybe you should leave the town. It's like I didn't do anything, and I'm like, man, these guys get. It's just weird how like that whole warm felt feeling that you did feel was something. If you could go against anything that it goes against that small town, just living in a bubble kind of thing
Yeah.
is another. And it was anything really. I remember we all did the same hand gesture for a senior picture, and of course it was a gang sign. I'm like, no, it's just something we did. We were all friends, and you know, I'm like, do we look like gangbangers to you? Like, you know, like.
Oh man.
But yeah, like being nice is a lot easier than just being miserable and mean, and just I just yeah I don't like drama. You know, like
Yeah. Me
I'd rather
neither.
just like when somebody says something to me, I always just say, if he said that in Japanese, I would just shrug my shoulders. It's a sound he can make with his mouth. Just walk away. You know?
Yeah, I always used to say, because me and my little brothers used to fight all the time, and I always told them, like, if we would have just learned one word in Spanish every time we got in a fight, we'd be fluent.
That's funny.
But
So,
that's the way it goes. I mean, the small town vibes are dying out, especially around here. I mean, I just see, like, everybody moving in from everywhere, and less and less small town. Big cities are getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
yeah, and with small towns come the bigger houses, and they never update the roads. That was my
Yeah.
thing. It's
I like that though. I like the bumpy roads, you know?
oh no, I meant like what was like your relaxing road. It's just people that have no idea how to ride a road like that, and it's
Yeah,
either
exactly.
they either do 20 too slow or way too fast. Where you know you're scared to pull out of your driveway when you used to just be able to do like a no look because nobody was
Yeah,
on your road.
exactly.
And
Well, yeah, most of the problem is that like nowadays these roads are, 20 years behind, like, and by the time they update them and they get it done, they need to be updating them again. Like,
yeah,
there's just too many people, especially moving down here to Texas right now. Like, Texas is overwhelmed. I try to stay off the interstates. Like, we'll go clean out of the way just so I can avoid all this crazy traffic. These people don't know how to drive.
yeah, yeah. I've been to Texas once and that was like the first time I'd ever been in like because everything up here is primarily it's old and
Yeah.
to actually be in like kind of like a modern type situation where I've never seen that many lanes in a highway other than pictures. And I just was like, I said, wow, there's a lot of cars on this road. 'Cause, like,
How fast is y'all speed limit up there? Like, what's the fastest speed limit?
I'd say, I guess the highest I've ever seen was 70.
70?
Yeah, it's 60. It's 65 where I'm at. I'm pretty sure it's just 70 is the highest I've seen.
That's crazy.
Why do
Yeah,
you guys have probably have
it's
what?
usually like 75, 80 here.
That would have
But
saved me a lot of tickets.
heck no, because then you're going 90 to 100. I mean,
Yeah, dude, I remember I had a Cutlass Sierra. It went up to 85, and the guy pulled me over. He says, "You know how fast you were going?" I said, "No, but I can tell you I was going drive." And he was like, "What do you mean?" I said, "I had that orange needle on D, which was way past 85. And he was just like, well, you probably ain't lying. I said, no, I'm being totally honest with you. I was like, I was doing drive. And he was trying not to laugh. And I was like,
I was doing drive, baby.
yeah, I was like, I have no idea how fast this thing can go. And he was like, listen here. Of course, like, I had one of those fraternal order of police cards that I'd gotten from somebody, and was like, this is that thing they told me to hand to you that, gets me out of this. And he was just like, that's not how it works. I'm like, okay. And he came back. He was like, here's a warning. But it never had a speed on it. I remember it said maximum speed. Like, man, I would really want to know how fast drive is, because they're still 2 and 1. But
That's hilarious. That's why he asked you, because he had no idea how fast you were going, so he was hoping you knew.
I'm surprised. He was probably like, how does a 1986 Cutlass Sierra go this fast? I was just, I say it took a while. Most of it was downhill. But yeah, I just remember that. We have this road. It's like Route 1, and it is totally straight. And it's, if you want to see how fast your car is on an early Sunday morning, that's the place to go. Because it's actually, all the on ramps, you can see people pulling up, so you kind of have some time to slow down. But they don't mess around if they are there. But yeah, 80 miles an hour speed limit. They're already kind of doing that cool around here. But
yeah, speeding it up.
Yeah, the lack of police engagement is what I strive for now. And like doing 15, 20, like how fast, like how sooner are you really going to get there?
You're not
5, 10. It's not worth.
Yeah, you're not. It's not worth any of that. Like,
yeah,
smoke a joint, slow down 5 mile per hour under, and just get there on time and safely.
Yeah.
Dude,
people, when you really sit back, especially like you being a musician and being on the road so much, you realize like the danger of driving. Driving is dangerous, and it's not, and it's something you can't control. Like, you can check your mirrors, but there's going to be somebody that is just, they have no care for anybody but themselves. And you're not going to know, like, when you're signaling and you're going over that car, you do 100 miles an hour, that's a mile a minute. You can look back and just before you know it, like, and it can change your life. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want no broken bones. I don't want to break no fingers. I want to do what I love. That's to play guitar.
Yeah.
And, walk upright.
Yeah, no joke. Like that. That's the craziest part of it, is that, yeah, I mean, it could all change in an instant. Like, I can't even imagine, like, back in the old days, them driving around like there's no DOT logs. They're just driving for as long as they want, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like right now, yeah, it's difficult. Like, the roads are definitely like, the traffic is the heaviest it's ever been, I'd say, especially around these areas, and down in Texas. And I'd say there's probably more wrecks and traffic accidents now than I've seen ever on the road. But yeah, luckily we've been really blessed to be safe, and I think about that a lot, because we're on the road 24/7 for what we do. So you would think the likelihood of something happening to us goes up exponentially.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we definitely got to be careful. But we've been blessed. We just got a real bus, so I don't have to drive anymore, and a real driver that's their job and they know how to do it. So I'm excited, and hopefully we get to just go a lot further places, and maybe come up and play a show somewhere around where you're at.
Dude, yeah. That saves me the trip to come down there. That's like when people ask, they're like what's your drive? They're like, you could do anything with your TikTok. You got all these, you got a lot of followers. What kept you loyal to doing all the Texas and Arkansas and Oklahoma and the red dirt guys. And I was like, because the more famous they get, the more likely they can come to me. You know, like,
Yeah.
because like I see like, I'm not saying it's bad. This is your career, and Texas is big. I see Braxton Keith, TX. I'm like, ah, and that's like a
Yeah,
lot.
no.
But
And
it's
that's
just,
exactly the way I see it too. I mean, and no hate to Texas or anything like that,
yeah,
uh but yeah, you get stuck. And you get stuck being this Texas guy. That's only this Texas guy, and that's not what I am at all, you know. I play country and western music, you know, and that's strictly it. I just so happen to be from Texas. So we're trying as hard as we can. We've got a lot of dates coming up that are out of Texas, and we're trying to do just as much as we can to get out of here. Because no offense, Texas, I love y'all, but I've been playing y'all for the last 5 years, and I want to go share the love with my homies around the rest of the United States.
yeah, dude, they're out there. It's I remember the first time thinking like it was Tanner Usry. I said, man, this is
Yeah,
gonna be cool. I got to hang out with him at Gordy's Highway 30 at Texas Motor Speedway. I'm like, great, I get to like hang out, and and I was just sitting there like the first I got there, and I was like, oh, there's quite a bit of people here. I was like, good for him, good for him. And I was like, kind of like on the jealous side, not the jealous, the selfish side of like, cool, you know, I'll get all the Tanner attention, and I can get to talk to him, hang out with him more. You know what I mean? And then like I come back with my drinks, and I'm like looking for a spot at the rail. There's hundreds of people there, and I'm like, oh, this is great for him, but I'll just wait in line to talk to him like everybody else. But it was incredible to see like Muscadine Bloodline. They played up in Philly, and they had a really big turnout. And yeah, all the people I've seen up here, I'm like, dude, yes, we
so
need
you're
this.
pretty close to Philly.
Yeah,
How close?
I could be there, and depending on traffic, probably like 30 minutes.
All right,
It,
once we get off of this, I'll call you and get you some because we got some dates coming up in Philly. So
do you know where?
I do, but I can't tell you on here. They're not
Okay,
released yet.
I
But I'll
know
tell
where.
you.
I probably know where they're at.
All right,
I've been
cool.
I've been trying to
You snooping, doing your
yeah,
own work.
yeah. Yeah, I've been trying. It's weird. Like, I'll be like, "Hey, can I talk to the people that book here?" And they're like, "Oh, you're a band." I'm like, "No." And they're like, "Oh, you're a manager." I'm like, "No." And they're like, "Why do you want to talk about people about booking?" And I was like, "Well, I have a unique opportunity that you guys can be the first on this thing." And they're like, "Well, what are you a salesman?" I'm like, "Listen, this guy, he's got this TikTok." I have no other credentials other than, I was in a pretty popular band around here. I said I played a bunch of these places, and I said there's a very unique opportunity right now to get in on this scene because it's it's jumping, and with people like, it's great to see because like I want to be able to be excited for live shows again. Like for
Yeah,
some reason around here, it's cover bands and tribute bands. And tribute bands can like some of them creep me out. Some of them are fantastic, but when they get off the stage,
feel
they
that.
don't break character. I'm
Yeah,
like, come on, man! Like, I get you. You're not Mick Myers. Come on,
yeah,
let's
but
have.
also like how unfulfilling. And no hate to tribute or cover bands, but like that's what I'm saying is like, why the
Yeah.
hell would I want to get up there and sing somebody else's stuff every day? Like, what is the point of that?
So this will blow your mind. A full time position for a tribute band. This is a legit 100% job offering for a lead guitar player. How much do you think they offered to pay for a year?
For a year or per show or what?
A year. It was a year. It was like a contract. Like,
So you're talking like, dang, I don't know. Okay, we're gonna say What are they? How many shows are they playing a year? 120, 150 shows?
That that I didn't really get into, but probably around there. Yeah,
I'd say like 90,000.
a little bit more.
Dang, really?
It was like 130, 135.
$135? Dang,
I was
that's
like
pretty good.
I'm like right off the. I'm like, did they supply your costumes? Like it blew my mind. Like that was, it's like an LLC incorporate like a business. And but I get it. Like I get the idea of certain tribute bands of like the night before that band's playing, you're the warm up, like the fluffer for the people that were like the diehard fans. Like they get, but other than that, like that that blew my mind. I'm like that. I would expect that for like Steel Panther, if some like a band like that with like a huge. But yeah, I was like, I never even. It was nuts. But yeah, like that's what I'm stuck with now. Now there are like I have friends. They have original music, but it is funny is when people are used to playing out here and they go to Texas and they play too many covers and they don't have like a good debut. And I've had to tell people that like when certain artists I know or do know, I was like, listen, man, don't play a couple so people can get a gauge on like how good you are, or just when you know the crowd wants to sing a song they don't know the words to, you can kind of sense that, then drop a cover. But don't just keep it primarily original. They really, and this is what I love about Texas. They really encourage, respect, and demand original content and
Yep.
music, which is awesome
Yeah, I
because
mean, like, it's necessary, I think, like, especially if you're going to be an artist, like, you've got to be, if you're not going to be playing your stuff, who is,
yeah,
you know? And so
and
it's like, I don't know, that's 100% a big deal. When I was starting out, a lot of people would tell me, listen, I'll listen to you until you start playing covers, and then I'm going to get up and leave. I had multiple people tell me that when I would start out. So I think it's really important, you know, and that's what got me into this whole thing was the songwriting at the very beginning of this. And so I think it all kind of goes back to the songwriting. It's about the songs, It's about good original music, and saying things in ways that other people have never said it before.
yeah. Now, do you have, if you were to write a song, do you have like any criteria that has to be met, or do you have like a method, or is it like a when the mood strikes?
Not necessarily like it used to be. I love that though. That's a great question. Uh, it used to be like when I first started out, it was like when the mood strikes. I had to be in a certain mood. Usually it was a very sad mood or something. And then it became a job. And it's like now you just got to write whenever we tell you to. Whenever the schedule says that you've got to be writing is when you got to be writing. So now it's just like willy nilly whenever. And I mean, yeah, there is a process though. Usually I come up with like a hook line and then a melody, and then we start with either writing a verse or the chorus, and then it just goes on from there. But it's, I don't know. I mean, there's no perfect way, and it never starts or ends the same. Like it's kind of a new experience every time you open up that can of worms. You got to just kind of feel it out, really, because I don't know. There's definitely times where I'll walk out of a song right and I'll be like, that is not something that we'll ever probably cut. And then there's definitely times where I'll walk out and be like, that song is great. Like that's a number one or that's a hit and I think you walk a really thin line of having one or the other every time you're in there.
Yeah,
So it's just I don't know. Every guy like me or every musician I guess in general, every songwriter at least, It's just waiting on that next number one.
Yeah. Well, like seeing as Cozy, it seemed to be a smash. Is it intimidating? Because now it's like, now what do we do? Because you might have had a storyline of like, oh, we'll drop Cozy and we'll do this, that, and this, and then when you look and you see those numbers and you're like, like they is it, like, what's your thought process of just keeping that trajectory up? And it's just because how do you really know too? It's such a to be in your situation around this. It's got to be nerve wracking because like the next move, you would have to feel like it's got to be like checkmate or you know what I mean, like
Yeah, I mean, we had a sing we the, so Cozy was the first single out of the four that I had, coming out. So we did Cozy and then Lonely as a Lone Star, Under the Neons, and I got one more coming out. And it was actually supposed to be out by now. Uh, but Cozy started performing so well, we pushed it a little bit. So right now, probably in about a month or so, or towards the end of August, we'll uh, we'll drop a new one, and then we'll drop a EP in the fall, and then probably something full length in the spring. Uh, but I've been writing, man. I've just been going up to Nashville and writing every second that I have a chance. So we're just trying to outdo what we've already done. Uh, so I'm getting back in the studio, cutting new songs, and just trying to write things that I think the audience will enjoy. And so that's what I mean. Before I released Cozy, A Little Bit Closer was my number one song. Uh, Still one of my favorites. Cozy, we released that, and I knew from before then that it was going to be one of my favorites. And I feel that way about four or five of the songs that we have written already that we've chosen to release. I don't know when they're going to be coming out, but I feel the same exact way that I did about those Cozy and A Little Bit Closer that I do about a couple of these. So
that's
I'm
awesome.
excited. I'm I'm ready for y'all to hear it, but
You gotta,
uh, I don't really know where it goes from here. We're just gonna keep working our tails off and keep pushing it on social media. I know that. Well, I know for a fact from the last couple weeks that social media does in fact work. I mean,
yeah,
we went from playing regular shows in Texas to we've sold out the last four that we played uh, before we even before it just pre-sold online. So it's like it's definitely helped our numbers for sure. So hammer the social media, man, and
yeah,
that's why I enjoy seeing your lives all the time. I get on there and just learn and hear you talk to people and stuff.
yeah. And I'm always like, Braxton, stop sending me gifts.
Oh, dude, I just love to like that is the best part of my day. I get off and relax and send people cowboy hats. I think that's hilarious.
Yeah, the, one of my friends on Facebook, you were on his podcast. I forget what it's called. It's Zach Rose. Is it his brother or man? I'm gonna sorry, but yeah, he was like, oh, he's great, and I said, yeah. I was like, he always comes to my lives, and I always yelling at him, stop sending me gifts, and he laughed. He goes, yeah, he's a fun dude like that, and I was just
Yeah, I
like,
love it. But that's
yeah,
cool. Like, I mean, engaging with I don't know. I just like to see like I like to see the conversation, and it's cool that you're pushing the conversation. So
yeah,
that's what's cool.
it is. I tell you what, like I'm trying to think. Like my one friend, I was like, "Listen, you gotta hear this song." They're like, "Who's it by?" And I was like, "It's by Braxton Keith." And they're like, "I already heard him." I was like, "I know you heard him, but you need to hear this song." And that's breaking another thing. Like finding out about you know, your music and showing people that music, and to be able to go back and be like, just to make sure they didn't miss a song, is that's always telling that you're doing something right.
Yeah. Well, what's crazy to me is that when I was young, like when I was in high school, Coetzel was kind of just now coming out, and I remember me and my friends all being like, oh, we need to keep this guy a secret. Like, nobody tell anybody about this guy. And I kind of feel like that's how everybody is, like with new artists, kind of like me. They're like, oh, everybody keep him a secret. Don't tell nobody. Like, we want to gatekeep this guy as long as we can. And so it's funny to me to like see comments and stuff like that. Where they're like, well, now he's getting big and we're not going to be able to afford tickets or whatever. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's the whole point of this whole thing. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we get to do more, like, way cooler stuff. I get to go, outside of Texas. Like, we want to go to California. We want to go to Florida. Like, I've never played any of those places. I've never been any of those places. Like, I want to travel the world. Go to
Yeah.
Japan, see people screaming. Like,
Dude. Yeah. Like I get comments of people like, come on, man. Why are you blowing up my guy? I'm like,
yeah.
maybe because he's tired of eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Maybe he
Yeah.
wants a steak dinner or, get a bus, get a driver and, live his dream.
Yeah, 100%. Like, that's the craziest thing to me. But it's cool at the same time because it's like, I remember the steps that, Co and Parker and those guys took, and that's one of the steps you have to get past. And so it's just cool to see the climb, I guess.
Yeah, dude. Fans are weird, man. And it's some of the ones that love you the most end up like being like you're Joker, you're Batman. It's so weird. Like I was talking to somebody, and they were like, "If Cross Canadian Ragweed just got back together, they would sell out a world tour." I said, "Okay." Cross Canadian Ragweed comes back. They have a show. Cody Canada's sick. And they still do the show. How would you feel about that? And he goes, well, that's not the band. And I was like, well, what is he playing? He's like, well, dude, he's the voice of the band. There is no good. And I was like, so he's the guitar player. He's the vocalist. Cody Canada Departed still has the same bass player. I was like, what are you upset about? About calling it Cody Canada the Departed? I was like, what is it? Is it the name? Is it like your memory of like I was, drunk at a concert? And then I was like, what? If you love the band, the voice of the band, you know what I mean? Like it blew my mind that like I couldn't get through. I was like, and I'm like, because I get upset because like, if there's one of him, there's 10,000, and I'm just finding him. You know what I mean? Like I want to see him live. Dude, he's fantastic. And it's like your fans. How can your fans turn on you like that when you just say, "Oh, I love these guys. I love the voice. I love the guitar playing." I'm like, but if he was sick and he wasn't there, you wouldn't go.
You know what another crazy one like that to me is? Have you ever heard of Shotgun Rider?
Shotgun. Did they do Texas Rain or?
Yep.
Okay.
Texas Rain. Yeah. So Logan Sanford, that's the lead singer of Shotgun Rider, and he's one of my buddies, and he's on my management. And man, they went from like selling out places and like being a crazy deal. Like I remember him in college, and they went from that to the band broke up, and now he's doing his own thing, and they're struggling a lot, which is crazy to me because it sounds the exact same.
Yeah.
There's no difference. No difference whatsoever. It sounds the exact same. They just lost the name. It's not the same name anymore. And it's so sometimes I wonder, man, I'm like, is it just a right place at the right time thing? Like, or I don't know what it is. Cause there's a couple examples of stuff like that where it's like, yeah, man. I mean, Cody Canada and The Departed, how different is it than Ragweed? I mean, like, for real, if he would have started with just Cody, if he would have just called it Cody Canada the whole time, you would have never even noticed.
Exactly. Dude, there you go. Well, thank God you named your band after yourself. So
Right?
you can go do whatever. Thank God you didn't hyphen it. Braxton Keith and the Mustache Riders or something.
Yeah, and the mustache.
Oh, no. Oh, they all shaved.
I mean, And that's how you would catch a lawsuit too. I mean, because you get a guitar player mad at you, and they're like, "No, I mean, you can't use the name anymore.
Yeah,
I'm part of that."
and then you got to go re-record it, and
But on the other hand of that, like I know that there's people like Zane Williams, where he was tired of having different members in his band, and he wanted a consistent band, and so they did the Wilder Blue, and that's their thing. That's what they're doing now, and it works great for them. So I'm
yeah,
sure it can work both ways, but it's just crazy to me.
yeah, I do like that name. Those guys, they're bringing the Harms back.
Oh my gosh, it's like the dang Eagles. I mean,
It's oh god,
Eagle, they're the new
fantastic harmony.
Eagles.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
like
no,
they did an Eagles song right with like Luke Combs.
yeah, they did.
Is it Seven Bridges Road?
Yeah.
It's funny. It's fantastic, and I did like I can't remember if I did like a versus video, and people are like, no one ever beats the Eagles. Blah, blah, blah. It's just it reminded me of
Oh,
like
they always say that.
yeah. I grew up in a household like that. Like if you were to put on Shine Down, Simple Man, like your CD would be. He's like, there's only one simple man that's about it's scary. My dad doesn't talk like that. He's actually pretty cool. But he's very like he went to the funerals. He's hardcore.
Absolutely.
But yeah, dude, that's still like you said, like, oh, you're going to the Logan Sanford show? Nah. Oh, why not? Isn't Shotgun Rider one of your favorite bands? Oh yeah, dude, I love those guys. Yeah, man, I got all their albums. Okay, I hope they get back together. And you're like, what? do you listen to yourself talk?
Yeah, I mean that's what we were talking about. We played this show one time at this venue, and that directly after we got done, we had to load off like real quick because Journey was playing the next day, and this guy paid like a ton of money for Journey to come out. And I know they have a new guy who's singing vocals and stuff, but like I just could not bring myself. They told me he paid, an ungodly amount of money for this band to come out. And I'm just like, I understand. I understand what you're trying to do here, man. But like the guys that were the original that make it Journey died, dude.
Yeah.
And so you're paying a cover band an extraordinary amount of money to come out and play the same songs. Like, I don't know. That's the kind of same thing where I'm just like, it's interesting because one person can either make the whole thing or
Yeah.
not make it at all. Like it doesn't make a dang difference who plays the bass or who plays the keys on stage. Like
I would say,
but you only got one Elvis.
Yeah, I'd say you're pretty important to the sound of Braxton Keith.
Well, I don't know if they get the AI going real good. They might be like, don't they have like a traveling? I think they do, like a traveling Michael Jackson tour right now, where they just like have him like hologrammed out there. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
weird.
Crazy. Tour
Dude,
for the rest of your life, and imagine, dude, like George Strait's just like, yeah, I'm never touring again, but I invested $10 million into this hologram, and he's going to do it all for me. Don't worry, folks. Still get your tickets. They'll be a little cheaper now. Like. That would be crazy. People would be retiring at 30.
Yeah.
I'd be saving up for a hologram right now.
Right. You can play shows everywhere all at the same.
At the same time, you play one night a year, all your shows at the same time.
Yeah. Or imagine like they make like a Amazon type warehouse where it's you performing with your band with all kinds of 3D cameras and everything, and then like other people are at satellite locations watching your guys' holograms. Like, man,
that would be cool too. Yeah,
like you could play every venue
at once.
Yeah, that's weird, but like, oh man,
that would be crazy though.
Yeah, somebody's probably thought about that, but I don't know how I feel about that. Like if you were standing somewhere with your band and just you're being projected, like just your image 3D, just all the venues, all at the same time, and there's, or even you can be at home with the virtual reality goggles and everything.
Oh yeah, that would be wild. The virtual
Yeah,
reality stuff is, I mean, if we were still in like a COVID situation where we were all having to sit at home, I could see where that would be like crazy, where you could everybody get the VR goggles and then like be at a concert together because like
yeah,
everybody would be there, you know?
yeah. Well, you still get
You
your
could,
guys like, how am I gonna throw my beer at Braxton if he ain't
yeah,
here?
yeah, exactly,
Dude, which
exactly.
some of those videos are crazy. Like, people, I couldn't imagine going somewhere and having just, you obviously have to have a personality defect to throw something at somebody at stage that had, you can't see it and you cannot see it coming. It's,
Oh my goodness, you wouldn't believe though. Like, and there's some people that like it, like Treaty Oak and them.
I
They
was gonna,
they that's their thing, you know. They like the showers. They like the showers. Now I'm a little different. I don't like that. I've had beers thrown at me and stuff, and I'll call you out. I'll just be like, "Hey man, like I drove a long damn way,
yeah,
not for you to be throwing beers at me." But it's not even about that really. The crazy thing to me is like last weekend there was one, and I could see it. It got I don't know where it comes from, but I can see it when it goes up in the air. And I said something in the mic. I'm like, "Watch out, y'all! Watch out!" Because like it's a
I,
glass bottle in the air, and
yeah,
that come down and hit somebody in the head real hard
I saw that
could really
TikTok.
hurt somebody.
Yeah, you could kill somebody.
Oh yeah, and so it's just like I don't know. I mean, I remember being a kid, being a rowdy kid throwing stuff, but I don't know. Some of the stuff these days, I'm just like y'all are just mean. Like there's little girls and stuff up here in the front. Like
Yeah,
I don't know. You catch me, I'm gonna be pissed too. You catch me in the corner of the face or something with a beer bottle. I mean, I'm gonna be
yeah,
mad.
yeah, yeah. It's, yeah. I see more and more videos like that. It's like, even like the people like they throw their phone. Like
Oh, that's the worst.
yeah, and it's like, I know you want it back, but yo, this phone's got mass to them, and it's like, and I get it. Like, I've been to shows where the artist will stop, and that's the time where, make eye contact, throw the hat, artist will sign the hat, toss it back to you.
Yeah.
There's times like that. That's totally fine with like merch stuff, but just to willy nilly,
Or
just
he'll grab the phone or whatever and take the video. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean, I've been on stages where there'll be 15 to 20 phones that get thrown up on stage, and you're just like, I mean, the worst is when you're in the merch booth line, and this has happened to me, and kids will come up mad, and they're like, "Well, where's my phone?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, let me just pull it out of my back pocket." Like
yeah,
I still have it. I'm like, I don't know. You're gonna have to go talk to one of the stage managers over there. Like you shouldn't have been throwing it on
yeah.
stage. Like,
There ain't no room in these Wranglers for no phone.
yeah, exactly. What?
Oh, dude, I meant to ask you, do you have, with Cozy, do you have any fun with it? Like, before, I'd be like, I wrote this song about my bass player and go into it. Like, dude,
Yeah, no. Usually I say like, this one right here goes out to all the pretty ladies' boyfriends, or something like that. Like I
oh,
don't know. Cozy's been crazy. Like ever since we released it, the first show we played was Lukenbach in Fredericksburg, and I'm sure you know about Lukenbach and
I had to
the
say it
story.
now.
Yeah, yeah, and it's it's a historic place. It's a beautiful dance hall, and they were screaming it back to us the day it was released. Like they knew all the words, and so ever since then, like we posted a video of them like really screaming it from this past weekend, and that's my favorite one to play now because hell, I don't even really have to sing it. I just kind of
You take a break.
sing. Yeah, just kind of
Just kind
y'all
of humming
say,
along.
all right, sing it with me, baby. Makes it a little easier,
Yeah.
But it's also really cool to like see the reaction on people's faces, and I don't know. I like reading the comments and stuff because people have their own interpretations. Some people are like, "Oh, I thought it was his girlfriend's cheating on him," or whatever they say, and then I'm just like, "That's funny. It's cool to get to interact with your fans like that."
Yeah.
And a lot of them, like, I mean, I don't know. I get the question a lot, like, why do you write song? Why would you even think about writing a song like that? And I'm like, I mean, I don't know. I went through the romance movie section of Netflix, and I mean, most of the movies there were about cheating. So I figured it
Yeah.
was in. I figured it was an in topic. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it seems to be. I feel like on TikTok, all these people are talking about how their significant others have cheated on them in the past and stuff. It's a relatable topic. So I don't know. It's crazy to just get to see how a song can impact other people. I think
Yeah.
that's my favorite part of it.
And how they interpret it, and
Yeah,
when
exactly.
when like, no, that's not what I was going for, but yeah.
Yeah, but at least you're thinking about it. Like that's
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, you probably, your paranoid fans are probably thinking about it a lot more than they should be.
Yeah, there's some fans that have claimed that the songs are about them or whatever. I think that's funny too.
Yeah.
I'm just like, y'all don't know. Like I sat down in a white walled room somewhere in Nashville, Tennessee, and they made me write this. Like that's the crazy thing is like, yeah, I mean, most of the songs I write nowadays aren't really about anyone. They're just
Yeah.
about whatever we thought kind of would be cool in the moment.
Yeah. And that's like I was talking to Mason from Mason and the Gin Line, and he says like he sings songs, and like you become the character of the song, and some people can't see it's a character.
Yeah.
Like if you were like singing a song, like he said, he was singing a song, where I'm the character of a pipeliner, and people be like, "You weren't no damn pipeliner," and he's like, "I'm singing a song here." Like some people just,
Yeah.
it's like people that don't understand that like dark humor stand-up comedians aren't that person in that joke. It's a joke. It's a bit. It's reality, funny, stage. It doesn't.
Yeah, it's all separate.
Yeah, and there might be some songs that aren't, but for the most part, like, man, it's crazy how sometimes you just don't think you're going to have to explain yourself with something that you thought would be so obvious.
Oh,
And
it's never like that. I mean, I, I think about every time we're writing a song, I think about like, how are they going to take this? How are they going to like, because honestly, like, you got to write songs that are just really easy to understand, self explanatory, like, because a lot of these people just aren't going to get it, you
yeah,
know? Like, one of my favorites is Cold Heart, Steel and Sand. Like, me and Charlie Stout spent hours on that song, getting it perfect. Uh, and lyrically, it's one of my favorite songs. But, you know, that's the same response I get every time I sing that song. Is, oh, you've never worked in the oil field. We don't know about West Texas. I'm like, what are you talking about, son? Like, I'm born and bred West Texas. But that's how it is. I feel like, especially with country music, or maybe it's not even country music. Maybe it's just cowboy culture, Western culture in general. Like that's the most said thing I feel like I read on everybody's stuff is, oh, you're not country, or oh, you're not a real cowboy, or
you ain't as red
whatever.
as
And
this
I'm
neck.
yeah, exactly. And I'm just like, what does it matter? Like,
They're like toppers.
yeah,
Everything you do, they got to top it.
yeah. Anything you can do, I can do better. That's right.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like, cool, man.
Yeah, it's
I
like whatever. Like, who cares? Like,
I think that's the first song of yours I heard is Cold
Cold Hard.
Hearts. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that song, man.
And
Beautiful song.
yeah, and your voice is, you definitely have a
Interesting,
lot.
isn't it?
It is, you have a lot of different tones to your voice.
It's if I could go back and redo it, I definitely would. Like, and it wouldn't be totally different, but I know exactly how I would redo it. Like, it's I don't know. I've just learned a lot since we went and cut that EP. Like that whole EP, I really wish I would have saved like for like 3 more years so I could have really known what I was like, what I really wanted to hear on it.
Yeah, like
But
found your
that's
voice
how,
a little bit more,
yeah, and like
kind
have
of.
more experience in the studio, like knowing how to tell people what you want. Like, because this, in the end, I mean, you're paying for this. This is your product that you're going to be putting out to the world. So you want to make sure you're getting exactly what your vision is if you have that kind of a vision. And I just didn't really know at that time like how to get across exactly what I wanted. Uh, so those are a little different. But now I think I've found like a good place of like where I want to be sonically and like what I want my sound to sound like. So
Yeah, that's a huge part, especially being a lead singer, is to find like your voice where it it takes a while because I like, a lot of times when you start singing, like you're mimicking somebody, and
yeah,
it
oh yeah,
even before you, and then to know it, and like it'll take somebody that knows what they're doing when they'll. And I've seen people break people. They'd be like, "Hey, stop trying to act like this," and the people are like, "Oh, this is how I sound." They're like, "No, you don't." And it's just weird how sometimes people don't even realize they're doing it. But yeah, but like you said, you wish you would have done things different. But that's kind of like the life of an artist. I'm glad you
it is.
released it. Like, are you ever really happy with what you make? And if you are, it's like, if I was to think of people that I bet they think they released 100% totally perfect, I they would also probably be the people that I would not want to have a drink with. Like,
Yeah,
but
true.
yeah,
And
but
I
also,
think like yeah, like it at the time, like when I released all these, I thought that it was like acceptable, I guess, or like my best, like the best that I could do at that time, at least.
yeah. Hey,
And then once you grow and you like, keep realizing, like I don't know, like once you figure out the scales on the guitar and you're like, dang, this opens up so much more. Like what was I doing before?
yeah,
That's the same way I feel. I'm just like, I don't know. Being in the studio for this amount of time has taught me things that, you know, it's like when you watch the high school kids play football now, and you're like, well, if I knew now what I knew, when I back then, I'd have been, whooping ass. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, same deal.
yeah,
I just wish I would have had the same mentality now.
yeah, dude. I think that's just the process of life. But at least you're not the kind of artist that hoards gold. You know,
Yeah,
you
right.
you put that out there, and that's the tough thing to do. Like, you're exposing yourself. Like, these are songs you wrote. Like, they're like your babies, and to put it out there, and you never know what it's gonna do. And like if you put out a song like expecting now that you've reached a level of success, and to like put something out and it doesn't do what Cozy did, and then that's just like, man, it's an emotional roller coaster of
It is. And that's like,
being
that's
the
the
art.
exact, like, I don't know. I mean, Cozy wasn't doing good at first. I mean, it did good. It was the biggest song that I've ever put out, like, streamed the most, but it wasn't doing what it's doing now. But one song can pick up the rest of them. I mean, like,
Yeah,
Cozy has picked up the last couple of releases that we did and helped those out a lot. And I don't know, the game's changed. The world has changed of music because TikTok and social media and being able to push your music all across the world with the touch of your fingers has changed the game completely.
Yeah. You're back in the day, flyering was just the telephone poles around where you're walking. Now you're hitting all the poles in the world. It's
Really. I
that
mean,
it's somebody anywhere in the world can be watching you right now. They might not even know what you're saying. But
exactly. But that's the crazy thing is like now, like back in the day, you had to go hit up the radio stations and stuff for people to get to hear your stuff. Now we go on podcasts and we do lives and we do stuff like this where we're, who knows who's going to see this? Could be,
yeah,
I mean, we don't even know. Someone from Indonesia is watching right now. It doesn't matter. Like it's cool because I mean, I never thought that I'd get to impact people across the world, and you can see it. I can go into the back end of TikTok or Spotify and see how many monthly listeners we have in Brazil or whatever, and it's like that's crazy, man. I mean, it's just an interesting life we get to live, I guess.
yeah, and it's nuts, especially like because the jukeboxes now aren't physical media. Somebody could
Yeah,
be typing your name in anywhere and
yeah,
listen. It's nuts. Like the power of the smartphone, it just puts everything in your hand, and it's as easy as I mean, now that you have a media team, but it's as easy as you just putting a phone in front of your face.
yeah, absolutely.
Which is that easy for you to do now that you're like
I love it.
24/7? Do you?
I
It
love like we're always trying to come up with funny stuff to do, and like my ultimate goal is like I want to be an actor eventually. Uh, I mean, obviously I want to do country music too, but
yeah.
like
Well,
acting, just all around modeling, everything. I just think it's cool. Like I've always liked being in front of the camera, and there's a couple other artists that are the same way. Like that's why I like doing videos with William Beckman because it's funny. Like I feel like it's just real easy and natural because he wants to be an actor too, and you can tell like the way that he holds himself in front of a camera and the way that he improvs and stuff. I'm like,
yeah.
that's funny, dude. Like
Like that video of him like being mad someone was cooking McDonald's on the bus.
yes, dude, like
The
stuff like
smell
that.
never goes away.
I'm just like, yes. I mean, brilliant stuff. That's funny stuff that I would love to watch if I was a fan.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we're at with these like vlog videos that we do on YouTube and stuff is just trying to like expose a little more behind the scenes of just what like life on the road is like.
Okay, so you have a vlog on YouTube that
Yeah, we
you
do
used to.
like 15-minute you know behind the scenes vlogs, but like so for instance like the beer can getting thrown at me or me kicking that guy in the chest, all these little shorts that we post on TikTok, they're all from the vlog. So it's just stories like that.
Oh,
But
cool. I didn't know that was the thing. I'm definitely gonna check that out because I
yeah,
love stuff
absolutely.
like that.
Yeah, man, we've just been going like traveling around and what that's like and basically just living this crazy lifestyle of never sleeping and eating terrible.
Right. Oh man. Oh, it's it's funny is Bree Bagwell.
Oh, I
Uh,
love Brie.
she was coming on the podcast, and I was like looking for like some way to find like in her personality because I had never met her, and she had this video of like how to deal with fans, and it was like the touchy feely, like swatting at hands and like it was so funny, like the stalker, and she's like running away and like doing all like it was really funny, and when I was like thinking of the block when he did kick that guy, I was like, it'd be funny like a stage issue of like how do you stretch before a show in case you do have to do that, and like it's
Yeah, I mean,
it's funny because it's true, but to put it in a humorous way, and it also shows people like your personality. You know, like they can, because you know, like back in the day, you didn't know if like when they would say never meet your heroes. Now you kind of can and kind of gauge if like I'm gonna get along with that dude, no doubt. You
Yeah.
know, because you seen him, like seen you on here, and obviously you have a great personality and that stuff. And I love seeing stuff where like you can take like that was a serious moment, but and then to make make fun with it and make it entertaining and still keep it be like, but hey, don't do that shit, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. There's so many of those kinds of clips in our stuff right now, and I hate putting them in there because I'm worried that it just causes more kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah,
But at the same time, I do want to let the audience know, like, you know, I'm not going to tolerate a
yeah,
certain, like, I demand a certain kind of respect when we get on that stage. Uh,
absolutely.
just because, you know, I feel like, you know, those people pay good money to see the show, and they're kind of demanding that kind of respect too, you know. So we'll all be cool and have a good time.
Yeah, and just because you have a family dental practice behind you doesn't mean you want to use it.
Yeah, no joke. But I
Right?
mean, and that's the thing. Like, you get a lot of hate. Like, we got a lot of hate on that video, and I don't care. I'm just sitting over here like I would have
Hey,
done the same thing regardless whether we filmed it or not. Like,
yeah,
I respect women and I respect, you know, people's personal space and privacy. It's like, dude, don't be pushing up on girls, dude.
yeah, dude, I respect that. Like, I'm not a huge fan of crowds, and
Me neither.
I
Like,
get weird. You you have to be a ringmaster, and like, dude, seeing that makes me feel so much more comfortable. And like, I'm 6'1", I'm not a small guy, but like, if you let one person get out of hand, they're gonna find some other people, and it's just gonna. That was like Highway 30. There was tens of thousands of people there, but Gordy ran that thing. Like if something had to be stopped, absolutely. It didn't matter what song, what band, if it was the headliner, what he would stop, deal with the situation, and like you have to do that because on the other end, like had you not done nothing, it would have been like, well, he just sat there, kept singing, he didn't even stop, we kept pointing, and yeah, he just kept playing. You know what I mean? And granted,
yeah,
that might happen if you just can't see because you have stage lighting, but if you see it, there's the double-edged sword. But you're definitely on the right end of that story because
oh yeah,
they bought a ticket, and you know what I mean. There's terms of service. Here's my boot, dude.
yeah. And I
It's my
mean,
name on the marquee.
there's, yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. These kids get out of hand, but I, as long as you're like being respectful of everybody else around you, like, usually I'm not gonna care. Like, if they're getting, you know, you're slinging beer and stuff, like, that's fine. Like, I understand kids are gonna be kids, but
Yeah,
it's just like a respect everybody else kind of thing, you know.
yeah,
As long as you're being respectful of everybody else, you do you, man. I don't
yeah.
care.
Um, I'm the same way, because a lot of times in situations like that, you can't like even if you want to get yourself away from the situation, it's very hard when you're that close to the stage to
Yeah,
escape, to get away from conflict. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's you
absolutely.
to even put your hands up to let security know you have
Yeah, I'm
nothing.
right here.
You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
and like they can only do so much, and you're at an advantage of being able to look down, and yeah, bravo that you keep your fans safe, and
Dude,
I
they keep me safe, man. I mean,
yeah,
they're
we have an
no,
army.
we're yeah, we're having fun, man. I mean, that's why I love it. Like, I'm a short little guy, dude. I'm not a big guy at all by any means, but that's what I'm saying is like, you know, I got my fans' backs because I know they got my back. Like, and we're all here for a good time. Like, nobody's here. Ain't nobody coming in here trying to cause trouble. Like, we're all just here to listen to some country music and do a little bit of two stepping, you
Yeah,
know. And I don't know. My job is just to take everybody's mind off of the real world for a little bit, And so that's what I
Yeah.
try to do while we're there. And when somebody goes to causing trouble, I got to end that as quick as possible so we can make sure that everybody just is entertained.
Yeah. Yeah. That, do do your fans have like a nickname?
No, but that the higher ups have been telling me that that's what I need to be doing is
Oh,
coming up with something like that.
you got to pick the name. Ah,
They
that's
said they said I got to pick the name. They were like, you need to start calling them something, and I was like, well, I have to figure out something.
yeah. Man, that's as hard as writing a song.
Yeah, a difficult task, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I thought that just came naturally on the message boards and the Facebook fan groups and everything, and that's what I
I
would take
guess,
it.
yeah, maybe. Hopefully, it does. Like, maybe I'll just put that in the story tonight and be like, hey, y'all name yourselves.
Yeah, let's crowdsource this.
Oh, that's funny.
that's, that's just as hard as naming the band.
Yeah,
Huh.
no joke. Did actually like so it is I call them the contraband. Uh, and the reason I call them that is because I was at a music shop in San Angelo, Texas, where I went to college at, and this guy was like, "Man, if I had a band, I would name my band the Contraband, because it's like a funny play on the word." And I was like, "I'm stealing that from you, dude." And he was like, "All right." And so I started using it probably about 4 years ago, and every time that we get a new member, the band's like, "We need to change the name." And I always told them if they could come up with a better name, we'd change it. But it's been that for 4 years. So,
Yeah. Oh, it comes in handy. Like if you ever get pulled over, and they'd be like, "You got any contraband in the vehicle here?" And you'd be like, "I'm Braxton Keith. That's the contraband.
yeah, that's the contraband.
I'm clean up here, sir. You want to
Yep.
talk to all them back there?"
Yeah, I don't know about those hippies back there, but
It's like Bree Bagwell. Her band is the band, right?
yeah,
BANNED. They said two ends, right? Not three. That's
that's funny.
another one. I was like, man, that's got to be weird. You know, the contraband. That's
Oh,
funny.
yeah. Gotta love
But
it.
yeah, but Braxton Keith, simple. You'll never
Yeah,
forget what band you're in.
exactly. Exactly. Everybody always asks me if I'm Toby Keith's son.
Why?
I'm like, no, I don't know. I think it's
Oh,
funny
your
though.
last name. Was that his real name or its stage name?
I don't know. I think it was just a stage name.
I can't
I'm not
believe I
sure
just
though.
said why.
Why?
Well, you don't know my last name. We've been talking for an hour and 40 minutes. Jesus.
No, that's actually my middle name. So I uh
Oh,
I keep a little bit of anonymity, or however you say that word. Uh, but no, that's like a family middle name that my grandpa had, my dad has, everybody has. So when I first started out, I was like, that'd be cool.
and it was it weird at first when you answer to it? Did that take
I
some?
think it's weird now that more people know me by that than my actual name, but it also helps a lot because I can tell who a serious person actually is. If they call me by my last name, then obviously I'm like, okay, this is a serious conversation. Like, don't be jacking around or whatever. But if they just call me Braxton Keith, then usually I'm like, oh, you're a fan, you know?
Yeah, but if they know the full name, they're like a super fan and/or stealing your identity.
Yeah, and or they stole it already.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love it. Yeah, no, definitely not related to Toby Keith. That would be crazy though.
Yeah. Probably a lot easier getting into the music scene though.
Yeah, I would imagine getting on radio might be a little easier that way.
You, you probably would have started off like little Braxton, and then you would have dropped a little, and then Braxton Keith like a rapper son. So
Yeah, like a rapper song. Braxton Keith the third.
so
Oh man.
So what is Braxton Keith Super Bowl? Like if you just
Like the
the
man,
venue that just
I don't know. I'd say right now, for sure, one of my like bucket lists, 100% is Red Rocks. Like I want to play Red Rocks really bad. There's also this cave in Tennessee
the
that's like,
caverns.
yes, I want to play the cavern. Just cool places like that. Like not necessarily like I guess venues, but just like places that are like breathtaking. I guess just be
Yeah,
cool places to play.
that's like the Laurel Cove Festival. You ever hear or see that? They have a moat or a pond. It's like it looks like a beautiful scenery, and people actually like got into it and stood in the water while the Red Clay Strays played, which was
Oh, that's sick.
some cool. It's like I think it. Man, I should know this because I was thinking about going the one year. I think it's in Kentucky, in like the hills out there in the wilderness, and it's like just a cove. But yeah,
Huh.
there's some beautiful venues out there. Like I had seen Red Rocks in like movies, but had no idea just how majestic it is. Like when they're putting all the stuff on like the rock, and then like what really took just to show the immense, just mind-boggling experience that it must be is it was Cody Jinks's band, and they're facing the photographer was probably by the drum set, and you just see like all the people and all the lights of like cell phones and everything. It just goes up and into the clouds. I was like,
Into
dude,
the abyss.
yeah.
That's crazy.
But it's also like you know like you play like a huge weekend, a huge show, and it's like one of the it's like the greatest experience and one of the worst things too because you gotta leave that moment, and
Yeah.
it's God that is it's like you're so thankful for everything, and you just the dopamine is just the endorphins and everything, and just to be like putting your guitar back in the box, doing once you do those latches, it's like, oh man. But like that's what we that separates you from the other guy that was like, I'm done. You know, like you just chase that because any
Yeah.
stage, at any time when someone's singing back your music, it's such a it's you can't you can't concentrate that and just sell that just that feeling. And
No, you couldn't.
I couldn't imagine like
It's crazy because shows have gone from like I remember like when there's nobody there and the show feels like it takes like it's like man this is only an hour and a half show but it feels like it's taking like 3 hours like this is forever and then now where shows will be packed people will scream back the songs and you're on stage and you're off like I'm sleeping in the bunk again before I even know it and I'm like dang like where did it go
yeah
like the time just flies by so fast now it's like it's here and gone it's crazy to me.
yeah. Now, how do you wind? Oh, how do you wind down after a show? Do you have like a routine?
Usually I go hang out with my dog on the bus. I have a quirky Australian Shepherd mix, and
Nice.
so me and him hang out. But right after the show, usually I get off stage and go to the merch booth and just hang out with folks till everybody's gone. So I kind of just wind down by talking to all the fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, not much
And
else. Drink a water, hang out. I mean, there's not much else you can do. Like by the time we're done with these shows and loaded up, it's time for bed.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. And it's emotionally draining as well, and it's a physical thing. But at
oh
least
yeah,
you guys, you guys aren't at the point you don't have to load in, right? Or do you still have to load in your own stuff?
yeah. We're still
Ah,
loading in our own stuff, but it's I don't know. It's cool. Like
yeah,
everything comes in stages. It's coming.
yeah.
But
Well, you're the singer. You just walk up with the microphone and go. Done.
Yeah, yeah. Let me check my instrument. La da 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 da. You know?
I'm good.
No, I enjoy it, man. I mean, I couldn't do anything else. That's for sure.
Yeah, and well, now you got the taste.
Yeah.
There ain't no going back unless,
Nah, you catch that honky tonk bug and it's over.
yeah, unless the acting career takes off, then that's a whole nother set
Unless
of.
Tombstone wants, yeah, wants to have me on.
So, do you have anything upcoming to
I've got a
plug?
bunch of shows upcoming. I've got a new single coming out at the end of August. Uh, Definitely got EP coming out in the fall sometime. So just keep your eyes and ears open. But definitely, I'll hit you up after this and let you know about those Philly dates.
Yeah, yeah, I'll definitely. If I can be there, I will be there.
Heck yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Philly?
No, sir.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like a couple of guys. They're like, "This is the first time in Philadelphia. Where do we get cheesesteaks?" I was like, "This is the birthplace of our country." I was like, "Just down the way is." I was like, "Is the Liberty Bell?" I said, "There's a lot of stuff you can see," and they're like, "So where do we get cheesesteaks?" I'm like, "All right, let's go." But
Yeah, I do want to go see the Liberty Bell. That would be crazy.
yeah, it's stuff down there. It's old. It's they got cool
See, that's what's
tours.
cool. Like, Texas isn't really that old.
Yeah, yeah,
So I like going and seeing like historic places. That's cool.
yeah. There's a lot of a lot of history, and that the art museum is awesome too.
Oh,
There's
heck yeah.
there's some cool stuff in Philly, and it's just crazy how like when you live here, you just you don't appreciate it until like somebody. It is nice when somebody does visit, and you're like, oh yeah, we'll go here, and then you go, oh wow, man, I just drive by this like angry I'm in traffic, and here's like something from 1700s that's stood the test of time, and yeah, there's a lot of that, especially like in like Boston and everything, and like you can go to Plymouth Rock, like or
Yeah, that's crazy.
and to see like old roads that still, I mean, granted they're terrible to drive on now, but they're you know
Still
it's,
around.
yeah, it's close to get to like a Roman chariot road.
Yeah, no joke.
Yeah. But dude, thank you for being on here. I imagine you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's
I had a
been a while.
blast.
Yeah, I knew you'd be cool.
Well, hey, I'll let you know. We'll grab a beer and a cheesesteak when I'm in Philly.
Yeah, there we go. Hell yeah, dude, I'm excited.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and yeah, man, dude, just keep doing what you're doing. Yeah, it's you're doing everything right, and it's just you get the music, you get the backstory, you get to see the fun side, you get to see the serious side, and I really think your social media is top notch. Of like you're a great musician, great artist, and it also shows the other things you are as a cool dude. You know what I mean? You're the next on you're the next on the rocket ship, dude. I truly believe that you will be playing Red Rocks.
Well,
You're,
thank you, man. I appreciate that.
yeah. So I'm excited to watch you just rule the world and
Heck yeah.
take that Texas sound all over.
That's right.
So
That's right.
hell yeah, man. Well, thanks for being on, Braxton.
Yes, sir. Thanks again. I appreciate you.
Yeah, man. You have a good night.
You too.
Thanks, bud.